My name is Emily Hayes, and for 34 years, I've been the overlooked middle kid in a family that struck it rich in the West Texas oil patch. Growing up on our sprawling ranch outside Midland, surrounded by pump jacks bobbing like mechanical birds and endless horizons of scrubland, I learned early on that fortune doesn't buy fairness, especially for a daughter who dreamed bigger than her assigned role. My dad, John Hayes, ran Hayes Energy with the kind of grit that turned his granddad's dusty wildcat well into a multi-million-dollar operation drilling for black gold across the Permian Basin. To the oilmen and investors, he was a legend, a roughneck who bootstrapped his way to boardrooms in Dallas. To me, he was the guy who'd glance past me during family meetings, his weathered eyes landing on my brother Jake instead, asking for his take on rig counts or fracking yields. Jake couldn't tell a drill bit from a doorknob half the time. Jake, older than me by 3 years, was the golden boy, primed to take the reins since he could toddle around in cowboy boots. Trouble was, he had the business sense of a rodeo clown. Lots of flash, zero follow-through. He'd roll into the office late, boots caked in mud from some all-night honky-donk, smelling like cheap whiskey and bad decisions. But Dad would just slap him on the back and grin. That's my boy, living life on his terms. Meanwhile, I'd crunch the numbers on sustainable drilling tech that could cut emissions and boost efficiency, only for my reports to sit unread in his cluttered inbox. Then there was Sarah, my little sister at 28, who'd turned the Hayes name into her personal TikTok empire. She pranced around the ranch in designer jeans and turquoise jewelry, filming day in the life of an oil heiress videos, treating our roughnecks like props in her influencer reels. Dad called it savvy branding. I called it fluff over substance. I remember the day it all snapped for me like a dry twig underfoot. It was a scorching July afternoon in the ranch's old barn-turn conference room, fans whirring against the heat. I'd spent months pitching a shift to hybrid energy, integrating solar and wind with our oil ops to hedge against market swings and green regs coming down from DC. I'd crunched the data, lined up pilot sites with local landowners, even got nods from a couple of big refineries in Houston. This is forward thinking, Dad, I said, pointing to my charts. He barely skimmed them before turning to Jake. What do you reckon? Solar panels on our rigs. Sounds like California nonsense. Right, Jake? Nursing a hangover. Mumbled. Yeah. Why fix what ain't broke? Oil's king out here. The room chuckled like it was the wisdom of Solomon. Dad nodded. Spot on. Emily, stick to what you know. Maybe help Sarah plan the company barbecue. I stood there, sweat trickling down my back, my vision blurring not from the heat, but from the rage building inside. They wanted me fetching brisket and smiling pretty while Jake partied away our future? That was the moment I knew I had to drill my own well. That night, under a sky full of stars that felt mocking in their vastness, I packed my truck and headed out. No big scene. No slammed doors. I just emailed HR from the road, saying I was exploring new horizons. Mom called a week later, worried I'd gotten heat stroke or something. Just consulting. Mom, I lied. Dad's message came through her. Tell Emily when she's done playing independent. Her spot's here. I sold my share of the family truck to a neighbor and kept driving west, toward the tech hubs in Austin. If they thought they could thrive without me, fine. I'd build something that'd make their empire look like a dried-up well. Austin hit me like a dust storm, vibrant, innovative, a far cry from Midland's oil-soaked grit. I crashed on a friend's couch first, then snagged a cheap apartment in East Austin, setting up shop with a second-hand laptop and a card table from Walmart. Savings would last maybe 6 months if I skipped luxuries like eating out. The name hit me during a caffeine-fueled all-nighter, Horizon Renewables. Horizon for the endless West Texas skies. Renewables for the future they ignored. For the founder, I went with E.J. Carter, neutral, forgettable, severed from the Hayes legacy. Those early days were rougher than a Badlands trail. I hustled freelance gigs in energy tech, coding apps for small outfits that couldn't afford the big dogs. My engineering degree from Texas A&M, which Dad had called my fancy hobby, finally paid off. I built algorithms optimizing fracking ops, predictive models for well maintenance, stuff that bridged old-school oil with new-age efficiency. Each job peeled back layers of the industry, the regulatory headaches, the environmental pushback, the gaps where green tech could plug in without killing profits. The big break came at an energy conference in San Antonio. 9 months in, I was sipping lukewarm coffee, eavesdropping on a driller griping about how his rigs couldn't sync with modern monitoring software. It clicked. I'd been thinking too narrow. The Permian didn't need just better pumps, it needed smarter ones. I coded a prototype over a weekend, AI middleware that let legacy oil gear talk to cloud-based systems, flagging leaks, predicting downtime, even optimizing for carbon credits. Rough as hell, but it worked. My first client? A mom-and-pop outfit in Odessa fighting EPA fines. I traded services for a tiny equity stake. They bit after a demo. Word spread like wildfire through the oil fields. Within 2 years, Horizon had an office in Austin's Tech District, 15 employees, and contracts with independents across Texas and New Mexico. I stayed anonymous, letting my CEO, Alex, be the face, charming, suited, perfect for schmoozing at industry mixers. I dialed in from shadows, voice disguised, pulling strings like a puppet master. The irony? Everything Dad poo-pooed as treehugger talk became Horizon's bread and butter. Our AI platform turned wasteful ops efficient, helping companies dodge fines and attract eco-conscious investors. Valuation hit $25 million by year 3. But success wasn't enough. I wanted them to feel the shift, to see what they'd lost. I studied Hayes Energy like a geologist mapping faults, their suppliers, leases, weak spots. Jake's botched deals had lost them key acreage in the basin. Dad's old-school ways ignored the green wave sweeping from California. By year 5, Horizon partnered with half the majors, everyone but Hayes. They peddled straight crude while the market demanded sustainable blends. The night our valuation topped $200 million, I stood on my Austin balcony, toasting the city lights. Back in Midland, they were probably at another family barbecue, thinking I'd fizzled out. Little did they know, their forgotten daughter was about to cap their well. By year 8, Horizon Renewables had become the phantom of the energy sector, ubiquitous yet unseen. Our platform was in rigs from the Dakotas to the Gulf, turning data into dollars while slashing emissions. Valuation? North of $250 million. Fueled by smart funding rounds where I kept control. Employees knew me as E.J. Carter, the enigmatic boss who favored Slack over FaceTime. The industry buzzed about this mystery founder revolutionizing oil with tech. But I played the long game. Every move a step toward Hayes. I started with their suppliers, pipe fabricators in Houston, chemical providers in Louisiana. Offered exclusive deals, integrate our AI, get premium rates. Locked them in for years, making Hayes costs skyrocket. Then the clients didn't steal outright, just showed how our tech made mixed ops seamless. Keep your Hayes rigs, our rep said. But imagine real-time data harmony. Once hooked, they questioned paying top dollar for outdated gear. The killer move? Quietly buying green tech patents, a firm holding keys to low-emission fracking tech. Hayes licensed it yearly, auto-renewing without scrutiny. Clause 14 allowed renegotiation post-acquisition. I waited, then hiked fees 300%. Dad's team cried foul. I called it fair market. Dominoes lined up, Hayes' margins thinned. Innovation stalled under Jake's leadership, if golfing counted as leading. Talent fled to us with fat bonuses. Alex shone at events, consulting me via staged calls while I blended in the crowd. Kept tabs on family via LinkedIn and oil gossip. Jake got VP title, mostly for show. Sarah's videos went viral, but workers hated the disruptions. Dad doubled down on pure oil in interviews, tanking stock. The acquisition offer dropped in November. Via layers of LLCs, $280 million for a firm worth $200 max. Generous. To avoid board pushback. Structured for control. With Dad's graceful exit. I monitored from Austin. Screens alive with intel. Hayes CFO.
Maria, assar platina dado overlooktrice, unknowingly fed me financials.
Thinking she networked. Board transcripts?
Pure drama.
Dad resisted at first. Pride stung. Jake saw yacht money. Sarah feared her brand tanking. Outsiders pushed, citing Horizon's rep. The buyer respects Hayes' roots. Our statement read, words I penned. Chuckling. Negotiations, 2 weeks of give and take. We conceded keeping Midland HQ, retaining staff, preserving lines. They felt victorious. Thanksgiving loomed. They'd celebrate the win. Then,
Reviar o time, EJ.
Carter steps forward. Dad's old line. Energy's poker. Not slots. He taught me without knowing to bluff. To fold when beat. The offer landed at Hayes Energy's Midland office on a windy Monday, couriered by Dallas lawyers in crisp suits. Packet, financials, vision docs. A price that perked ears. Buyer, Summit Ventures. Under Peak Holdings. Tied to Horizon. Opaque but legal. Alex nailed prelims as my proxy. I watched from my command center. Coffee in hand. Maria proved gold. Detailing vulnerabilities. Board meet. Dad balked at selling the family legacy. Jake pushed for cash out. Sarah sided, eyeing her feed. Directors noted premium. Horizon's track record. They'll blend Hayes' grit with tech. Lawyer quoted my script. Dad softened at the respect bit. If he knew his daughter wrote it. Concessions flowed. HQ stays. Job safe. They preened like they'd outdrawn us. I smiled at screens. Thanksgiving, they'd toast the deal. Monday, truth hits. But plans shifted when doubt crept in. Was revenge enough? Years built me strong. But isolation stung. Maybe healing. Not breaking. I tweaked the endgame. Reveal. But offer olive branch. Teach. Don't torch. Thanksgiving hit like a hubbub. I drove to the ranch under orange skies. Nerves like live wires. Table groaned with turkey. Brisket.
Tecan pie.
Dad raised his beer. Big news.
Folks.
We've sold Hayes Energy. And you kids? You're on your own, no handouts. Jake choked on stuffing. Sarah dropped her fork. Mom gasped. It's time y'all stand on your own boots, Dad said.
Smug.
Build character. They erupted, Jake yelling about lifestyle. Sarah fretting followers.
Y said quiet. Pie untouched.
Emily?
No gripes.
Dad eyed me.
Nah. Dad.
Folks get what they earn. He nodded, missing my tone. Smart girl. Then I stood, heart pounding like a rig pump. Got something for ya. Pulled a card from my pocket. EJ. Carter.
Asa.
Horizon Renewables. Placed it by his plate. He frowned. What's this? For Monday's meet. Phone out. Alex. You there? Yes. MS. Carter. Doc's ready. Dad paled. No way. Laptop up. Projecting to the TV. As of yesterday, Horizon owns Hayes. Family froze.
AJ, Emily Jane.
I nodded. Clever. Ha! Slides showed Horizon's rise. Hayes dip. Every green shift y'all ignored? That's me. Jake stammered. Fraud. Alex explained structure. Clean. Legal. Realities sank. Mom whispered. All these years.
8.
To be precise. Emotion cracked my voice. Dismissed ideas. Jake's nods over mine. You built walls, I built bridges. The room spun with accusations. Why? Dad demanded, face like thunder. You know why. Every time you looked past me, that's man's work, jab. I proved I could drill deeper. Slides flipped to discrepancies, Jake's padded expenses, trips to Vegas on company dime. Could report it, but Sarah's eyes widened at her own slides, using ranch for unauthorized shoots, dodging taxes on sponsorships.
How?
Own the auditors now. Mom teared up. This tears us apart.
No.
We were cracked already. I paused, voice softening. But it doesn't have to end in rubble. They stared. What? Jake snarled. I'll restructure Hayes under Horizon. Modernize, add renewables. Train folks for green jobs.
No laughs. Pensions boosted.
Dad scoffed. Charity. Opportunity.
Jake.
Resign VP. But join as ops manager, real work.
No fluff. Prove yourself.
He blinked. Sarah. Pivot your brand to sustainable energy. Partner with us, real impact. Not filters. She nodded slowly. And me? Dad asked. Consult. Share your wisdom, but listen to mine. Or retire with full package. Silence. Why not crush us? Mom asked. Revenge feels good short-term, but families forever. Lesson. Value everyone. Or lose them. Dad's eyes misted. I was wrong.
Eminencia. Vi tåke till dawn, grievances
Apologies flowed. By sunrise. Agreements sketched. Monday's meet sealed it publicly. Post-acquisition. Changes rolled. Midland HQ buzzed with solar installs. AI training. Jake sobered up. Learning code, surprising us with insights. Sarah's videos went viral on eco-tips. Boosting Horizon. Dad consulted. Grumbling at first, then embracing hybrids. Family dinners shifted, real talks.
No hierarchies.
I ran Horizon from Austin, but visited often. Mending fences. Valuations soared to $500 million. But true win? A family rebuilt on respect. Lesson learned. From dust rises strength. But together, we weather storms. The integration wasn't seamless at first. Old roughnecks eyed the new tech warily, muttering about fancy gadgets, replacing gut instinct. But I led workshops myself, boots on, showing how AI predicted blowouts better than any veteran hunch. It's not replacing y'all, I'd say. It's arming you. Winds came quick. A rig in the basin caught a pressure spike early, saving millions and lives. Word spread, morale lifted. Jake threw himself in, ditching bars for books. This stuff's addictive, he admitted one night over beer. Shoulda listened sooner. Sarah's pivot?
Gold.
Her Green Oil Glam series featured real workers. Not poses, followers doubled. Partnerships poured in from Tesla to Exxon. Dad was toughest. Pride dies hard in West Texas men. But at a joint board meet, he stood. My daughter's vision saved us. Time I stepped back. We hugged, first real one in years. Mom beamed. Hosting barbecues where business mixed with banter. Personal growth hit me too. Anonymity shed. I spoke at conferences, inspiring women in energy. Don't wait for a seat, build the table. Horizon expanded west. Into Cali wind farms. Creating jobs in underserved spots. Community funds from profits built schools, clinics, giving back to the land that birthed us. Challenges lingered. Regs tightened, competitors copied. But united, we innovated faster. A family crisis tested, Jake relapsed briefly. Instead of firing, we supported rehab. He emerged stronger, crediting our bond. Sarah faced troll backlash. We rallied, turning negativity to advocacy. Dad's health scare, heart issue from stress, brought us closer. Proud of you, kid, he whispered in hospital. Always was. Just blind. Tears flowed, forgiveness sealed. By year 10, Horizon led the hybrid energy wave. Valuation $1 billion. Hayes' name endured, symbolizing evolution. Family, tighter than ever. Dinners laughed over old slights, toasting growth. Revenge morphed to redemption. Lesson, betrayal stings, but empathy heals. In West Texas vastness, we learned, empires built on exclusion crumble, those on inclusion endure. Expanding horizon meant navigating the wild west of energy politics. Lobbyists in D.C. pushed back on our green mandates. Oil barons whispered sabotage. But data don't lie, our platforms cut spills 40%, emissions 30%. Investors flocked. We went public. Shares soaring.
Personally,
I mentored young engineers, especially women from rural spots. Your voice matters, I'd tell them. Jake rose to director. His ideas on field ops saving costs. Thanks for the chance.
cease.
Sarah's brand evolved to nonprofit arm, funding scholarships for STEM kids in oil towns. This is real legacy, she said. Dad retired fully, but consulted remotely from the ranch. Fishing tales mixed with tech tips. That AI of yours caught a fault yesterday. Saved a bundle. Mom organized family retreats, camping under stars. Rebuilding trust. A bump. Old suppliers sued over contracts. Lawyered up. We won everything above board. As always. Proved our ethics. Community impact grew. Solar arrays on ranches powered homes. Creating jobs. Locals who'd eyed us suspiciously now partnered. Reflection hit during a solo drive through the basin. Pump jacks nodded like old friends. Wind turbines spun gracefully. I'd come full circle from overlooked to overseer. But true power? Lifting others. Family bonds. Once fractured. Now steel strong. No more invisibility. We saw each other clear. As Horizon eyed global markets, Mexico. Middle East challenges loomed. Geopolitics. Climate shifts. But prepared. We thrived. Jake married a geologist. Sarah advocated in Congress. Dad penned memoirs. Crediting me. My biggest blind spot became my greatest pride. Holidays buzzed with grandkids' laughter. Next-gen learning balance. Lesson echoed. In pursuit of justice, choose mercy. It builds empires that last. The capstone came at our 10-year gala in Dallas. Glitz meets grit. Cowboys in tuxes. I keynote. From a West Texas dinner betrayal to this, Proof that overlooked sparks ignite revolutions. Family on stage. Dad hugged me. She's the real driller. Cheers erupted. Post-event. We reflected on the ranch porch. Stars overhead. Regrets? I asked. Only not seeing sooner, Dad said. Jake. Grateful for the wake-up. Sarah. Best plot twist ever. Horizon's future. AI for climate adaptation. Partnerships with natives on sustainable lands. Personal. I balanced work with life, hiking, mentoring. Family vacations solidified unity. In the end, the shocking buyout didn't destroy. It rebuilt.
Archeste laissant yield sweetest fruit.
In America's West, where horizons stretch endless, we learned forgiveness forges paths forward. Empires rise not on revenge, but redemption. And that, folks, is the true Texas tale.